So, good evening, everybody. I'm glad to have you all here. I'm sorry it's a little bit earlier, but I've got to go and do some things later on tonight. So, let's see. Yes, this article we were doing was about the fossil record that's going to be left of our big cities. Particularly, it was talking about the fossil record that will be left of Shanghai. So in 100 million years, what's going to be left? And it's been talking about that, different things related to that. Good evening, Manisco. Great to have you. Good evening, Vitali, Valentine, Roland, and Manji, if you're still here. Also, what I was going to say, next week, next Sunday, I'm not going to have a live stream on Sunday, but it will be on Saturday instead. So look out for the big live stream on Saturday rather than Sunday next week. Okay, so I wonder if this is coming through. Hi Opa, hi Roland, hi Suya. Great to have you as well. It's wonderful to have all the the same people. And good evening, Vina, and good evening, Manuel. So I wonder if this is coming through. Great to have you all, and Manny as well. Okay, that tells me that you can definitely see what we've got here. Like the etc. Fossilized burrows, holes, and tracks left by ancient creatures. Our trace fossils will show how we moved, but they'll also record that we didn't only depend with, in, by, on our own locomotion. Namaste, Big Bang. Great to have you, and good evening, Ghosty, as well. Okay, so the first one is a question about articles, and Manny says the and zero article. Valentine goes the or zero article. Manny says on as well, and so does Valentine. Oppa says the and depend on. Vitali says the zero or zero article and on. Good evening, Falern. Roland goes depend on. Okay, I love this. And good evening, Manji. Great to have you with us. It's a real pleasure to have you with us here. Okay, and Ghosty says on. I think the second question's probably easier than the first one. Yeah? Roland goes zero article. And Manu says, like the fossilized burrows and tracks left by ancient creatures. Okay, so this, and Manji says the zero article and on. So Alash, good evening. I don't know, why has the stream paused? Depend on for Manuel. Roland says hi to Manji, and Hadi says the zero article. Okay, and Namaste Shakib as well. And okay, so second one's easy. What's the and Manu says depend on. What is the dependent preposition with depend? Depend on. Okay, now look at this one here. Fossilized burrows and tracks left by ancient creatures. Firstly, it can't be a, because burrows and tracks are plural and a is singular. The specific ones left by the fossilized burrows and tracks. Okay, Falern goes the and on. And hi Alash. So in the first one, the is correct, but also zero article, like fossilized burrows and tracks generally. So the right answer is the and zero article. Okay. So the specific ones left by ancient creatures, or generally ones left. Good evening, Heidi Yet. So Falern goes the and on. Great to have you, Heidi Yet. Yeah, okay, so yes, so Heidi Yet goes on for the second one, which is the correct one. Okay, I don't know if the stream is working properly. I hope it is. Let me just try this. Okay, so let me read this. There are more than 300 kilometers of subway line beneath Shanghai, protected against corrosion, erosion, abrasion, decomposition. It's possible that whole lengths of track may be preserved, even a train carriage. Okay, this one's reasonably easy. Okay, so Vitali goes for erosion, so does Valentin, Manji and Hadi. Manuel says corrosion. It's possible. Erosion for Ghosty. Hello, Jovan. Hided Yet goes for erosion and so does Manny. Falern says erosion or corrosion. No problem. No need to excuse yourself, Patricia. This is voluntary. Surya goes for corrosion and decomposition. We're talking subway. Yeah, the metro. And Oppa goes for erosion. Notice, I think this word subway is very American. I would say underground line. Corrosion for Rexness. Okay, Shakib. Florsi Norsi nihilification means the art of estimation is useless. It's really not very good. Okay, so Manuel says erosion is used when it is outside, and air or sea or river. So which, Patricia? Erosion or corrosion? This is really good. Let's see. Corrosion talks normally about metals corroding, oxidation of metals. Yeah? Underground's a British word. But here, notice, water comes through the ground and will drip onto these things. Yeah? And I think decomposition will occur. Normally things are organic things. Rubbish is decomposed. Erosion, says Roland. Erosion is a geological term, says Rex. Yes, so it's protected. Notice what Manuel said. Erosion is used when it's outside, and this is clearly inside. Yeah? So corrosion, normally we're talking about metal, corrosion of metals. Yep, a little bit earlier today, Count. I'm sorry about that. In British, it would be the underground. Metro is continental, French or Spanish. Yeah? So, abrasion means to rub against. Decomposition is talking about organic materials, rubbish, food, things like that. Erosion, to eat away. Corrosion is only metals. And Sherwin, and good evening, Sherwin. Sherwin's gone for erosion as well, and clearly it's erosion because it can't be eroded because it's underground. and that's the point with this. It's hidden from the surface, so it's going to be erosion. Let's see. The subway cars will corrode while underground, yeah, and the track will corrode, but probably part of it will still be there, even if it's corroded. Whereas erosion, wears things away. It takes them away over time. Wind erosion, erosion by water. Yeah? Okay, so we've definitely got the next one. Preserved lengths of road tunnels, complete with curbstones, ventilation system, and the glass and copper wiring of electric lighting, will suggest, indicate, cue, hint at the 50 million kilometre long network that once wrapped, cloaked, covered, wrapped around the planet. So let's see, we've got hint at for learn, for Vitali. Notice this wrapped doesn't have a W. There is no W here. Yeah? Abrasive is rude, but an abrasive is sandpaper to rub against. Something as abrasive grates and rubs away the surface. So forlorn goes wrapped. Count Beauty indicate wrapped. Manny goes for hint at. Saponification, to make like into something soap-like. Make it organic and inorganic at the same time. Hint at, says Manji. Manny's gone for wrapped again, but notice there is no W here. Yeah? Manji says wrapped. With the W. Yes, I've got wrapped and wrapped. Sorry, my mind is going. Okay, so Manji says hint at. Manji says wrap. Count Beauty hint at. Haddy hint at and wrapped around. So notice, let's see, wrapped here. This is to wrap. You rap on the door with an R. Yeah? Okay, Sherwin, Valentine goes for wrapped with a W. Hint at and wrapped for Ghosty, and Soya goes hint and covered. Okay, so Sherwin hint and wrapped. Oppa Q and wrapped. Hint at, says Roland. TW, good evening TW for hint at. Good evening Tomek, great to have you. Once wrapped around the planet. Okay, that will suggest at, no. Will suggest, yeah? Will indicate, no at. Will cue. Cue is normally something that triggers something else, that pushes something else. Yeah? In the theatre, the words that somebody says before you say your lines are the cue. To cue is something like a trigger. So the first one very definitely, hint at. Indicate no preposition. Suggest no preposition. So Patricia says hint at or cue at. Definitely not cue. Cue's got the wrong meaning. Suggest and indicate without an at. And then, okay, option B covered. So let's see. Venus says hint and cloaked. No preposition for indicate. Hint at, says Roland. Predispose and dispose. So predispose means you are willing to do something. You're ready to do something. Yeah, you have you favour it. Whereas if you're disposed, you are agreeable to doing it. If you're predisposed, you already have an internal liking. Where if you're disposed, it just means you're willing to accept it. To suggest at. I would not use at with suggest. This suggests with no preposition. And then wrapped. To cloak means to hide. Normally we see cloaked is cloaked talks about invisibility. Yeah? That's my pleasure, Faranak. Okay, so abrade, to graze, to grind, to rub at. Hello, Slipknot. Great to have you. Need to blow my nose. Okay, so wrapped, because it's wrapped round and round. Cloaked. I wouldn't use cloaked. If something's cloaked, this normally implies that it's hidden. I keep thinking about the Klingon cloaking device in Star Trek. Yeah? Cloaked has the idea of hidden. Yeah? Whereas this just has the idea of going round, around and around and around, and we've got that word. Cut that once covered, no preposition, and wrapped to bang on. Cloaked with mist. Thank you, Hadi. That's actually a very good example of it. Yeah, the top of the mountain was cloaked in mist, was hidden in mist. Yeah, it was completely covered so that you couldn't see it. Predisposed, inclined to, you have a predisposition. Yeah, before you even see the question or the thing, if you have a predisposition, this is something that you like, that you're ready to do. Yeah. Okay, so let's see, we've got the next one then. Thick deposits of clinker in the harbours of major port cities, dumped, evicted, kicked, deported, banished, overboard by coal-powered steamships in the 19th century, will be read like nodes in a map of global seafaring. Under the cloak of darkness, I love it. Yeah? Okay, notice clinker is the ash that you get from burning coal. Yeah, or from wood as well. Clinker is normally the ash from burning coal. And for many years, ships used coal to make their engines go, and they had lots of coal which they just dumped overboard. Whoops, I've given the answer. So yes, cloaked in tenebrous darkness by Slipknot. I like that. And we've got dumped for Vitali. Manny says deported. Count Beauty says dumped. So does TW. Hadi for dump. Valentine, Ghosty, Manji, Sherwin, Soya, Patricia for dump. Cloaked, coated. I would say cloaked is a synonym for hidden. Yeah? Cloaked in. I guess coated works as well for learn. Roland says dumped. Rex says dumped. Slipknot says dumped. Good evening, Veshi. And Slipknot took a dump to go to the toilet. Hyder Yet says deported. Pirates do kick overboard people who do not walk the plank. Coherent and comprehensive. Something that's coherent sticks together. Something that's comprehensive means it covers everything. Yeah? Comprehensive. You see, I wouldn't use comprehensive like coherent. I would use comprehensive covers all different types, whereas coherent is the way something joins together. Usually banish people somewhere. That's very good, to banish. Yeah, you've been banished from the city. Yeah, banished, sent into exile, forced to leave. Of major port cities. Notice the J, Manuel. Major. I know it's mayor, but major port cities. Dumped overboard. Kicked overboard. I guess you could, but normally the pirates, who was it who said the pirates kick people overboard? That was Sherwin. Yeah, I think if you're kicked overboard, you're thrown off the boat. Okay, so let's see. To evict. To evict, normally you evict a person from a place. So I didn't pay the rent in my flat and I was evicted. I was thrown out onto the street. Kicked overboard. I guess it might work, but it's not very good. Yeah. Normally you'd kick somebody overboard. Deported. To deport is to make somebody leave a country. Yeah, if you break the immigration rules and you get deported back to your country of origin. To deport is to send somebody back to their home country. To banish is to exile, is to say go away and don't come back. Okay, evict a tenant, says Patricia. Ruhul, good evening Ruhul. Turf out, evict, I like it. Yeah, the answer is to dump. D-U-M-P-E-D. Yes, to dump is to get rid of things that you don't want. As Slipknot said, to take a dump, to go to the toilet. You're getting rid of things that you don't want. Yeah, the dump is the place where you throw all your rubbish. Yeah, to dump, to throw away. The police evict people because of the severe floods. No, the floods evict the people. Yeah, the floods evict the people. Dumped is the best option. Dump because you dump rubbish. Absolutely. Okay, I love it. And this only just fits. That's better. Okay, so to dump is to throw away. I'm going to have to dump this old sofa. Yeah, you could you dump things that you don't want. Okay, we're getting answers. The fossil remains of Shanghai Tower could be matched to the remnants of other tall buildings in other cities to form a portrait of a global culture of city livers, dwellers, inmates, lodgers, incumbents, who built with the same synthetic materials and used many of the same objects day to day. So almost, Hadi, let's see, you dump something on the market, Hadi, okay? Dumping. You dump a product on the market. Yeah, you could be evicted for your house for not paying the mortgage. So we've got dwellers for Vitali, for Count, for TW, Shalom Rainyard, great to have you. Dwellers for Patricia, dwellers for Manny, Rainyard, Roland, Sherwin, Oppa and Manji. This is great. Okay, Fixtures. City inmates sounds rather intimidating. Rule says lodger, and Ghosty says dwellers. Prison inmates. So normally the inmates of a prison or the inmates of a mental hospital. If you're an inmate, yeah, you can't leave generally. Yeah, you're not allowed to leave. Okay, so dwellers for Soya. And for Manuel. Yeah, it does. It sounds very well. Maybe the cities are a mental asylum. Yeah, but okay. Cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller. I love it. And dwellers for Hadi. Okay, a lodger is somebody who pays to live in your house. Maybe they rent a room from you. Roger the lodger. Inmates are in prison. An incumbent is the person who has a position. So, for example, the incumbent American president is Mr. Biden, whereas the incumbent Russian leader is Mr. Putin, the person in the job. We don't normally say livers, yeah, although you can live in a place. Inmates of an asylum. Livers is logical, but we don't use livers. Yeah, your liver is an organ in your body at the top of just above your stomach. City dwellers collocates very well too. Yes, it does, Manji. I quite agree. Is livers even a word? No, I don't think so, Manny. Well, yes, maybe if you're talking about the organ, yes. So there were 6 pigs' livers on the counter at the butcher's. That's okay, Vina. It's very late for you. Incumbent, current, in the present position. The right answer is dwellers. Yeah, city dwellers, people who live in the city. So, liver, something that you eat. Inmates in an asylum or a prison. A lodger, somebody who rents a room or in a place in your house. An incumbent, the person who is in a particular position, particularly. Life depends on the liver. Absolutely, Patricia. It's now 7 p.m. in the UK. Yes. Yes, Noel. So, goose liver. Sounds delicious, Roland. Goose liver pate. Foie gras. Yum, yum. The present incumbent is, yes, it's definitely a tautology. Definitely for learn. You dwell in Tenerife. Yes, exactly, Manuel. So, dwellers. Okay. The homogeneity would also express itself in future paleobiology. Fossils of the same handful of species will turn out, in, down, up, over, about, again and again on every continent other than Antarctica. So homogeneity, it means that they're always the same, homogeneous. All of the things are the same. They're not heterogeneous, different. And paleobiology, this is like looking at the fossils of live things. Yeah, geology looks at rocks. Paleobiology looks at the fossils. Fossils of the same handful of species will appear again and again and again. So we've got turn up for Vitali Valentin Manji. Incumbent, necessary as duty. Yes, it is incumbent on me to tell you this. Up for learn, and for Hadi, and for Mani, and for Suya. He's the incumbent president. He's the incumbent president of this mammoth company, Roland. Turn up, says Oppa, so does TW. Yeah, I'm always on all sorts of rabbit trails. I love them. And Elizabeth Moses, hello, that's a great name. And turn up, says Rainyard. Turn up, says Manuel. Turn out, says Count Beauty. Turn up, says Patricia. Good to have you, Elizabeth. It's wonderful to see you. And Sherwin goes for up, out for Ghosty, up for Slipknot. Capsize, overturn, tip over with a boat. I think they're the same for learn. Great to have you, Elizabeth. Paleontology. Paleontology, I think, is the study of rocks. Paleontology, I think so. Turn up, says Roland. Okay, so, and Noel says turn up. To turn out, for example, you turn out the guard, yeah, or the turnout at this event, the number of people who appear, yeah, the number of people who turn up. To turn in, to go to bed. To turn down, to reject. To turn up, to appear. And here, appear very definitely. To turn over from one side to the other. To turn about, to turn 180 degrees. I'm British, Umar. Turns out, apparently. Yes, definitely turns out. Turn up, not turn out, turns out. How did the meeting turn out? How did it end up? No, to turn up. Turn up. turn up, very definitely. Okay, I think to turn out are the number of to turn out means to attend. Yeah, to attend a meeting, to attend an event, whereas to turn up means to appear. He turned up unannounced. Yeah. Okay, it's like you lift up a rock and something appears, something turns up. I was looking for this book for ages, and finally it turned up. So to turn out, to appear at an event, to appear when requested, to turn up just to appear. Manifest, I like it. So, paleontology is the study of life in the geological past. Thank you, Vitali. Low turnout. Good. Few people turned up because the turnout was low. The Anthropocene rat will be a signature species of the great age of city building. Mixed with the rubble and plastic landfill sites across the world will be the bones of some 60 billion chickens killed for human eating, consumption, feeding, munching each year. So notice they've used this phrase, the Anthropocene rat. Anthropocene talks about the age of humans, yeah? The Pleistocene era, well, the era of humans, of anthropos, man. And here they put this in inverted commas because it's talking about chickens, yeah? An apple turnover, yum, yum, yum. So Vitali goes for consumption, so does Count, so does Verlaine, so does Valentine. Human consumption for Roland. Leffy didn't turn up today, not yet anyway. Maybe he thinks it's an 7 o'clock start. Consumption for Patricia, for Manny, for Gosti, for Manji, for Oppa, for human feeding. Does feeding work? For human feeding, I guess, but feeding is not very good. Yeah, I think it works, but it's not very good. Consumption for Suya, Oksana, great to have you. Human consumption for TW, consumption for Umad, Slips not goes for consumption, so does Elizabeth, so does Rainyard, Sherwin, Hadi. For human feeding, says Manuel. Munching, to eat slowly, munch, munch, munch. Also, to munch is very informal. Yeah, I was munching on my sandwich. Ruhi goes for consumption. Anthropomorph, an animal with human qualities. Big or a small turnover, high or a low turnover. Yes, those work very, very nicely. Taking a dump to paleontology. I did use the word for human diet, for the bee consumption. Okay, human consumption. Yeah, because humans consume it. This collocates very nicely as well. For human eating. For humans to eat. Yeah? Eating here would be a noun, and you know I don't like for with ings on verbs. Yeah? For killed, to feed humans. For humans to munch. Okay. Anthropocene means the era, the time that humans were around. Yeah, we are living in the Anthropocene age. Yeah, it's the time of humans, and this is what we live in. Food, grub. I'm trying to think of the others, Rainyard. Grub is the only one I can think of at the moment, Rainyard. Okay, so in fact, it's likely that landfill rather than the remains, relics, ashes, skeletons, offal of cities themselves, will tell the most richly detailed stories. Modern landfill sites can build up thicknesses of several tens of meters and cover many square kilometers. Munch, Rainyard? Okay, so we've got remains for Vitali, for Count, for Valentine, for Oksana, for Ghosty. Remains for Oppa, for Manji. Bring your own grub. Yeah, or bring your own bottle, Haddy. Remains for Rostam as well. Great to have you, Rostam. Relic, says Rainyard. Okay, so let's see. A relic is normally something that's left over that people worship, a holy relic, yeah, rather than the relics of the cities themselves. I guess relics might work, but I'm not very happy. Ashes says it's burned. The skeletons, no. And what is this word offal? So we've got remains for Patricia, for Suya, for Hadi, for Hydrojet. The wreckage. I like that word, Valentine. Thank you very much, Slipknot. That was very good. The relics of cities. The relics of cities themselves. But this says the relic that belongs to the city. That's how I would understand it. Relics is not the best option. The remains. It's a much better word, remains. I think I would accept relics as a second option, but relics are more like artifact. The city remains. Yeah, remains is clearly the best option. The remnants. I like that word, remnant, Soya. And Rohi goes for skeletons. Remains, residue, that's good. Offal, internal organs of animals. Yeah. Round here they used to have offal butchers. Landfill is normally a great big hole in the ground where they put something underneath it and then they fill it with rubbish. Yeah, landfill. It's a way to get rid of rubbish. You fill a piece of land with it. Yeah, and notice detritus. Normally detritus, Sherwin, is uncountable. Offal. Normally offal is uncountable as well, Patricia. Innards of an animal offered as a sacrifice or to eat. I'm a real fan of offal. Provisions, victuals, comestibles, nosh. Yes, nosh or grub. I like that word, nosh. A Viking sword is a relic of a past age. That's good. Good to have you mastering political sense. Okay. And okay, let me put the next one on. I'm prevaricating. I'm beating around the bush. Okay, so landfill. Landfills make archaeologists ecstatic. When I was a kid, I used to collect bottles and I used to go to dig up Victorian landfill, which was actually very interesting because you'd find lots of really interesting old bottles in this place. Scran. I've not heard that word, scran, Liverpool slang for grub. Okay, so this is now talking about landfill. Lined with persistent, durable, stiff, invariable, lasting would fit, neoprene. They are filled with individual plastic bags full of waste, creating a double seal against the corrosive influence of UV light, oxygen, water, and chemical leachates. leachates, chemicals that leach out, that take out the minerals within them. So this is talking about landfill. Landfill filled with lasting neoprene. Persistent, durable, stiff, neoprene, invariable. So we've got durable for Vitali, for count. The remains, yes, the remains. Definitely the remains of something. Persistent for Valentine, durable for Gosti, and durable for Manny. That's Scouse. I can't speak Scouse. Durable for Manji, for Elizabeth, or shall I call you Lizzie? For Suya, no, not anymore. I sold them when I was about 25. I actually got quite a lot of money for them. Durable for TW, Rainyard durable, Rohi durable, Oppa and Umar durable. The same for Roland, Hadi, Sherwin and Patricia. Persistent. In the chemical sense, I think persistent actually works. But persistent normally means somebody who keeps doing the same thing again and again and again until they succeed. I guess persistent would work, but it's an unusual choice. The right one here is durable. Something that's long-lasting. Remember that collocation from last time. Long-lasting. Stiff means rigid. Something that's stiff is hard. Yeah? And then invariable is something that doesn't change. It's always the same. Yeah? Persistent, yes. It refers to a cough or something like that. Let's see. I think persistent, talking about chemicals, yes. This chemical residue is persistent in the soil. Yeah, to persist. It just about works, but it's not the best answer. Pretty shapes, colours and sizes. They were really beautiful, Patricia. Okay. Okay, so let's try the next one. Okay, so we're going to have a new one now. Okay, and here we go. People particularly like blue ones. Persistency will pay off. I like that, Roland. It's a good example. Persistent normally talks about the actions of people. Okay, long-lasting. That's the word, the phrase. That's the meaning. Okay, each relic city, so it's a city that is a relic. For each relic city, this is city, there will be a shadow city. Vast fossil middens. I'll be interested if anyone knows middens. Punctuated with the outlines of all that we discarded, denied, eliminated, disowned or jilted. Okay, and we've got lots of answers. Discarded for Roland, for Count, for Valentine, for Oksana, and disowned, says Vitali. Discarded, says Ghosty. Manji says discarded. Sherwin says discarded. Manny says disowned. Oppa says disowned. Okay, what is a midden? Okay, a midden is a hole dug in the ground where you use it as a toilet and you put all your rubbish in it. A midden's it's a rubbish dump. It's a hole in the ground. Yeah, where you go to the loo, you chuck all your rubbish and then you bury it. It's a very unusual word, usually used by archaeologists. That's why I didn't use that one. We've got discarded for Hadi. Suya goes for discarded. Vitali says a midden is a dunghill. Yeah, effectively. Patricia says discarded, so does Heidi yet. We discarded for Manuel. Denied, says Elizabeth. A shadow city. This is the fossil outline in this case, Umar, because we're thinking of millions of years in the future, and you've got a city, yeah, and the shadow city is what's left, what we can see in the fossil record. Discarded for Slipknot, discarded for Rhodey. Dispose of excreta in the midden. Discarded, disappeared, disappointed. It's negative, it means not. Yeah? Un. Oh, I love that. Leachate contaminated water percolating through and extracting soluble or solid matter. Okay, so Patricia says to disown a son or a daughter. That's normally the idea of disown. Yeah, you disown somebody. I'm not with him. I disowned him. Yeah, if you could disown your family, is to say that somebody is not with you. Yeah, when the dog started urinating everywhere, we disowned it. That dog's nothing to do with us. Okay, to deny, to say all that we eliminated. To deny is to say no. Bart Simpson says I didn't do it. He denied it. That we eliminated. All that we eliminated. No, I think to eliminate is when I do something like that. That would be to eliminate. Yeah? It's to... I guess it works, but it's not very good. To disown is to turn your back on someone. That's the idea, Rostam. Middens, landfill. And what about this jilt verb? To jilt is to leave your girlfriend, particularly when she's pregnant. The maddening midden. A relic, an object survived from earliest time. That's why I accepted it. Discard old clothes. You normally disown a person, Vitali. Yeah? Discard, to throw away. Okay, to jilt. He jilted his pregnant girlfriend. Jilt is at the altar, not on the altar. At the altar, Rostam. No, Oksana, it's not giving it away. It's pretending that it's nothing to do with you. Yeah? I don't know that dog at all. Yeah? Okay, to disown is saying I don't know this person. Yeah, I'm nothing to do with it. It's no relation, that bears no relation to me. To jilt, to walk out on someone. The guard denied he drunk boys. He got the guard denied he drunk boys to enter the building. To jilt, to walk out on someone. To jilt a lover. Miss Havisham was jilted. Great expectations, Ghosty. Yeah, I don't know that person. There's nothing to do with me. To disown. That's the idea of to disown. Okay, but this is particularly when you don't give somebody their inheritance. Yeah. In Spain, it's illegal. It's illegal to disown your children. You have to leave them a record. The fossil record, the rock record, will swear, testify, confess, submit, assure that not all of us had the same impact. That those settled near sites of extraction lived far less fossil fuel intensive lives than those in cities. To disown, to repudiate repudiate. I like that verb, Hadi. That sounds very good. So let's see. We've got testify for Count for Roland. No, she doesn't have to be pregnant to be jilted. It was just an example. Yeah. Umad says testify. I would say to leech off someone. To leech from someone. I would say leech off someone. To testify for Vitaly and for Valentine. And testify for Rostom. I deny working on Monday night. That's good. That's good, Manuel. Testify for Manji. Testify for TW, for Gosti, for Oksana, for Oppa, for Suya. To testify, to serve as evidence. That's very good. Testify, to attest to something. We'll attest that. Very good. Testify for Learn. Testify for Rostom. Testify for Rainyard and Manuel. Okay, to renounce, to disown. That's good. Testify for Lizzie. Yeah, you've got to... it's one of the things you need to do, Vitaly. You need to read more carefully. Patricia says assure. To assure means to give assurances. I assure you that this is true. Will assure. No, normally somebody assures somebody else. You submit a document. Yeah? I submitted my homework. I submitted my form. To confess. I confess that I did it. A person confesses. And the rock record will swear. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So testified for Rohi, to bear witness to, very definitely, to testify, to bear witness to, and bear witness and testify for Slipknot as well. Okay, yeah, somebody testifies, it gives evidence. To validate. Ooh, I like that word a lot, Manji. Okay, so to validate, to prove that something is true. Okay, so, yes, it will give evidence to show that it's true. A person confesses his sins. Yeah, you could about, but it's more normal without the about. So notice, Valentine, to confess something. Not normally to confess about. You can confess about. Okay, the impact talks about the amount of change to the natural environment, Umar. Okay, future fossils will suggest, hint, imply, whiff, tip off at this tale of global inequality. They may also tell of the impact we had on generations yet to come, yet to be born, who were forced to live with the consequences of our carbon addiction. To vouch with vouch for learn. Okay, hint for count, hint for Valentine, hint at, says TW, so does Rostam, so does Oksana. Read the question again, Vitaly. Look at this at. This at says it can only be one thing. To corroborate. Will corroborate. Yeah, that's a good one, Jovan. Hadi says hint at. Soyas, hint. Manji, hint. Gosti, hint. And Heidejet testify for the previous one. So will suggest without the at. Will imply without the at. Whiff is a smell of. There's a whiff of something rather disgusting in here. Hint at, that's better, Vitaly. Jilted, to leave in the lurch. No, to tip off means to give information to somebody. So the The police were tipped off and they stopped the robbery. I was going to say the rubbery. Elizabeth says hint at as well. That's very good. Well done, Lizzie. Okay, so to tip off the police. Yeah, this is to inform on your friends, to inform on somebody. Yeah, I was tipped off that we were going to have a test. This is where somebody tells you about something before it happens. Yeah, a police tip-off. Yeah, so if you, a tip is like a little piece of information. So somebody gives you a pointer, but definitely hint at. To hint at, it's got to be hint with that at. Yeah, okay, to hint at something is the second hint we've had. Okay. A whiff of informality. Yes, a whiff is informal as well. Hello, Luke. There's a whiffy near Landfill, very definitely. Aroma whiffed through the room. Yes, very good. A whiff. Okay, so let's try the next one then. Of course, there may be no one to find or make sense of what is left of our cities. But that doesn't mean that we should not seek to imagine the long-term heirlooms, endowments, legacies, descendants we are leaving behind. We might all do well to think more like geologists. Some of these choices are very difficult, Patricia. And we've got legacies for Vitali, for Count. Yeah. Tip has lots of meanings, Luke. Legacies for Nad, for Valentine, for Patricia hint at, yes. Okay, legacies for Rostam, for Rainyard, for Hadi, for Rohi, for Oppa, for Luke. Legacy, says Manuel. Whiffy, smelly, a smell. Legacy for Salwa as well. Let's see. An heirloom is something that is valuable, that has been passed down from generations. This is a family heirloom. This object has been in the family for hundreds of years. An endowment is something positive. You're endowed with something positive. And descendants are the people that come after you. Yeah, so we ought to think about the world that we're leaving to our descendants. Yeah. Okay, so very definitely a legacy, because a legacy can be positive or negative. Inheritances, yes. Heirlooms is something valuable. Endowments is something positive. Legacy could be positive or negative. And descendants are the people that come after. And I think, okay. Okay, so let's try one more then. And, I'm worried about the connection. It looks okay at the moment. Yeah, an unpleasant odour, a whiff. Pwah. Okay, the earth scientist Marcia Bajornarud calls for A and zero, cultivation of timefulness, which she describes as a feeling for distances and proximities in the geography of deep time. So she calls for Count goes for A, Rostam goes for thee, for learn for A, Rohi for thee, Bwek for thee, A for Ropa, A for Elizabeth, calls for the cultivation for Manuel, thee for Vitali, Gosti goes thee, Jas goes A, Rainyard goes thee, Valentine for A and thee, Manji says thee, Oksana says the. Surya says the and 0 article. Nada goes for the. Salwa goes for 0. Okay, I love these an and the questions. To call for, to need, yeah? It requires, yeah? To require, to need, to call for. Luke goes for the. Yeah. Legacy says Patricia in the previous one. So, let's see. Which one is best? A cultivation of. But notice it says timefulness, so it's something very specific. I think the cultivation of timefulness. I think the fits much better than A. For cultivation, generally, yes, I think that works as well. It's probably my second choice. I'm not very with A cultivation because of timefulness. That makes it very specific. Okay, so for me, the answer is A and 0 for A cultivation, for cultivation. For the cultivation, the specific cultivation. There are many kinds of cultivation, I quite agree, Valentine, but timefulness, that's one of the kinds. Yeah, for cultivation of, I think maybe all three fit. The is the best, 0 is the second, and A I'm not very happy with. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I need to stop now. A couple of things. Next Sunday, I'm not doing a live stream, but I will be doing one on Saturday, okay? I will do one on Saturday. The next stream is on Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. UK time. This is 1 hour earlier than usual. Check carefully for this coming week or two, because some of the things are going to be at different times. So the next stream, and no Sunday stream next week, will be on Sat at, I'm going to put 6 p.m. UK time. Okay, thank you very much. You have to be in the writer's head, and that's what makes it so damn difficult. Yes. So take care of all of you. It's been great having you. I hope to see you on Tuesday. Remember, on Tuesday morning, it's an hour early.